So let's start with the yesterday's questions. So there were some interesting questions asked yesterday by Ramsha and Ashaz. Ramsha is not present. Can anybody tell me what was her question? Yesterday I have asked you, how many times do we breathe in a minute? So Ramsha gave that answer. And what was that answer? How many times do we breathe in a minute?
Is it 30 minutes, ma'am?
Yes?
Is it 30 minutes?
Minutes, I'm not saying. In 1 minute, how many times do we breathe?
30 times, ma'am.
30 times, that's what yesterday Ramsha said, and you all agreed. Nobody questioned ki 30 times. Have you tested? I told you have to go home and find out how many in a minute. Have you just seen how many times are you breathing in a minute? 30 times in a minute is abnormal. If you're not healthy, you have got any health issues, then you breathe 30 times. What is the normal value of breathing in 1 minute?
12 to 20 times in a
Very
minute.
good. If it is, it has to be 12 to 20 times. If it is less than 12 or more than 25, then there is a matter of concern. So I told you to do this exercise in a minute. You just keep a stopwatch at home and just see how many times, I ask you even to keep your finger near your nostril and see when you are inhaling. So Ashaz gave a right answer. When you, yeah, Ashaz, what did you feel when you have kept your finger under your nostrils?
When I am exhaling the air, the finger feels warm, like a
Yeah,
type of warm air
warm
is
air coming out.
touching my finger.
Yeah,
When I'm inhaling,
yes.
it's like normal temperature.
Very good. So you inhale in the air, which is normal, and you exhale out warm one because of the catabolic activity that is taking place, because the breaking down of food is taking place, and then the energy is released and warm air is coming out when you're exhaling. So this entire cycle of inhale and exhale, to experience it, you keep a finger under it and see the clock, how many times it is happening in 1 minute. So you have to do this exercise. So yesterday Ramsha said 30, and I asked you all to do this at home, but you did not come. Okay, today Alina gave a right answer for it. So Ramsha and Alina gets this performance marks for today's questions. And let's proceed further. And we have even seen that air is a mixture of gases, and when you are inhaling in air, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and not nitrogen goes inside. And you inhale 21% of oxygen and you exhale out 16% of it. That means how much of it is remaining? Only 5% of oxygen is utilized every time when you inhale. 5% of that oxygen goes in, and 0.04% of carbon dioxide you are inhaling, but 4% of it you are exhaling out. And nitrogen, 79% you take in, inhale in, and exhale out. So we will be having various experimentations, activities to check this percentage of gases coming in, going in and coming out. So let us see what exactly is happening. How are this transportation of the gases taking place? So you can see that the relative amount of gases and their combining capacity with the hemoglobin. I told you oxygen also combines with the hemoglobin, and carbon dioxide also combines with hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a pigment that is responsible for the red color of the blood. So oxygenated blood is red in color, whereas deoxygenated blood is blue in color. So when this hemoglobin is combining a substance in the blood that determines the transportation via blood in the body. So this oxygen is transported to all cells of your body through capillaries, blood capillaries. capillaries. So blood is the main source of transportation. Like transportation, if you have to move one place from one place to another, you use transportation. Like for example, you're coming from your home to school, you come by some transportation. So inside your body also, something has to move from one place. When you are inhaling in oxygen and it is inhaling in air, and it is getting purified, and the oxygen is reaching to each and every cell of your body through a transportation mechanism. And that thing which is transporting is the liquid fluid blood. Okay. So now what do we see in this? You know, when oxygen is present in the air within normal limits, then almost it is called as the binding capacity of the hemoglobin. So a protein which is present in the blood, which gives red color to the blood, is called hemoglobin. And when oxygen combines with hemoglobin, we call it oxyhemoglobin. Okay. So this oxyhemoglobin is molecules and the hemoglobin, you can see that how they are combining with each other. Okay. So it combines with the rest of the dissolved blood plasma also. And inside the blood, you can see that these are the red blood corpuscles that are flowing. This red color is HB is for hemoglobin and O2 is oxygen. So when this oxygen is combining, it becomes HbO2. That means oxyhemoglobin. So hemoglobin combines with oxygen, giving oxyhemoglobin. And now you see this red blood cells and the tissues. I have explained you what are tissues. Can anybody tell me, repeat the same? What do you mean by tissues? What are tissues? Who can answer this question? Yes.
Tissues is a group of cells
Very good.
that have similar structure
And
functions.
Very good. So tissues are, tissues are formed by a group of cells having same function. So here you can see that the capillaries over the tissues of this hemoglobin meets different environment, and tissue cells are continuously using oxygen. Tissue cells means that tissue which is having the group of cells. So each and every cell needs oxygen, and that is being supplied. So you can see how, and carbon dioxide is going out of the tissues. Hence, the concentration of oxygen is quite low in them. It might be only 1/3 of that of the lungs. So if you can see, in and out of the carbon dioxide is going out. Red blood cells in the capillaries and alveoli are the tissues of the lungs, and then the oxygenated blood is out. So in our bodies, carbon dioxide and water are produced and energy is released to use up in the different purpose. So what happens is the process of respiration. When you take in oxygen, oxygen goes inside, and ATP in the form of energy, it is released, and we are working out. And what are we giving out? We are giving out carbon dioxide and water. Safi, keep your camera properly. So now we have already explained you what is cellular respiration. Yesterday, you all have written about cellular respiration. So this is very important question. You have to understand how it enters and provide energy for the essential process of the all living cells. And it is carried out by cellular respiration. Inside the cells, you have got mitochondria. If it is taking place, if the respiration is taking place in the presence of oxygen, you call it aerobic respiration. And if it takes place in the absence of oxygen, then we call it anaerobic respiration. So aerobic is in the presence of oxygen and anaerobic is in the absence of oxygen. Alina Begum, what happened to you? So Now we are going to see some organisms do respire in the presence of oxygen and some does not. So cellular respiration in prokaryotic cells like bacteria occurs in cytoplasm. In eukaryotic cells, cytoplasm and mitochondria are the sites of reaction. So can anybody tell me what do you mean by prokaryotic organisms? What are prokaryotic and eukaryotic? So prokaryotic were the organisms where the nucleus and the nucleolus are, and the organelles are not well defined, okay, like amoeba. You cannot see. Whereas in eukaryotic organisms, karyotic is a Latin name for nucleus. Nucleus is the main important functional, reproductive functional organelle inside the cell. So this eukaryotic cells where mitochondria are actually the site of reaction for respiration. Whereas in prokaryotic cells, you don't find that. The structure of cell you have already studied in your class 8th, 9th, and now you're in 10th and still even in class 7th, but still you are confused with the, so please refresh, come prepared for the class so that you can understand further concepts clearly. So the produced energy is stored in mitochondria. We call mitochondria as the powerhouse of the cell. So in the form of ATP, and it is called as the powerhouse of the cell. So you can see how this is stored. What are the entire process? So the breakdown of sugars gives us energy, or whatever you are eating, carbohydrates, for example, you are eating chapati, that has to undergo a process of breaking down of the food in the form of ATP, NADP, and ATP in the presence of pyruvic acid. So glycolysis means, lysis means breaking. Glyco is sugar. So breaking of sugar takes place, giving rise to NADH, 2 molecules of NADH and 2 molecules of ATP. And this glucose is getting splitted into pyruvic acid. And this sugar within the living cells does not take place in a single reaction, but it occurs in a series of steps. When you are inhaling in oxygen and exhaling out carbon dioxide, this breaking down during this limited period of time, this breaking down is happening and energy is released, which you are utilizing. Okay. Any doubts here, or can we proceed?
Ma'am, hello.
So now you see how this anaerobic and aerobic respiration takes place, and then the chemical nature of the molecules from one stage to the next is slight. If any step is small, the amount of energy is released. Okay, the complete breakdown of sugar molecules with the release of all its available energy involves a series of different chemical reactions. So in eukaryotic, where the cytoplasm and the well-defined nucleus and nucleolus is there, the respiration, the energy is released from the breakdown. Whereas sugar molecule is stored in a special compound called ATP, which gives 7,200 calories of energy by each ATP. This energy is stored in the form of phosphate bonds. So energy is released. If I'm breathing, but I'm sitting and I'm not doing any work. So this energy has to be stored somewhere. So this energy is stored in the form of a phosphate bonds. Okay, the bond is broken, and once this bond is broken, the energy will be released. Whenever it is required, I can use this stored energy. So you can see how the glucose cycle in this, 3 carbon compounds plus energy gives rise to oxygen In the presence of oxygen, we call it aerobic respiration, and that is the Krebs cycle, which you have seen earlier. And absence or in the absence of or in the low oxygen, it is called as anaerobic respiration. And in the presence of oxygen, it is aerobic respiration. So what happens to the energies? It is an example in bacteria. You have anaerobic respiration, and ethanol plus carbon dioxide plus energy is released in yeast. So carbon dioxide plus water plus energy is released in anaerobic respiration. Now, if you look at them, what is happening? What are these people doing?
Running.
They're running. So do you think, are they doing any activity? Have you ever seen
Yes.
what happens when you run?
Heart beats so fast.
Heart beats
Mm,
fast. What else?
we breathe with our mouth.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
sometimes have to open your
Long breath.
mouth very good and breathe. Why? Because you need more oxygen. You know, your breathing cycle increases whenever you're doing some exercises. So whenever you see that the fastest sprinters do not breathe at all when running 100 yards. After the dancing, you feel it's very difficult. So these people who are running, you know, they're breathing because of the exercises, their breathing capacity is also increased. But after some times, they find it very difficult. They feel it difficult to breathe. So as Asha said, certain times we even open our mouth, depending upon the race, until your breathing gradually returns to normal. So you see that, so what is happening when you are exercising? You can see that energy from food which you take is getting converted into the ATP, and this ATP gets splitted and into adenine triphosphate, and DP is diphosphate. Okay, di means two. So that is how the energy gets splitted into the already present in your, so they are stored. These phosphate are these phosphate molecules bounds that are reserved in your muscles are being converted to ADP, diphosphates. And the graph shows the analysis of the blood of a person during and after the exercises. Let us see, there is this graph is there in your textbook also. You can open your textbooks, or else we can even observe if this is not clear on the screen. You can even check it into your books. How is this graph moving? The energy produced ATP, the triphosphate already present in your muscles. As I told you that when you are eating food and you have not, you have stored some energy. And when you are working out, you are exercising, this energy is released and it is stored in your muscles. And it is getting converted into ADP. ATP is adenine triphosphate. This phosphate bonds, which are molecules which are stored as energy in your muscles, breaks up into adenine diphosphate. And here the graph shows the analysis of blood of a person during and after exercises. So here we can see what is happening to a person before exercise and after exercise. Okay, the energy produced already present in your muscle is getting converted to ADP, diphosphates. And the graph shows the analysis of a blood of a person during and after the exercises. So what happens to him during? So an athlete is taking part in, if you take an experiment in which, you know, an athlete is taking part, or somebody is cycling or doing some exercises on the treadmill, then you can check their graph on. So what do you see on the graph? So what have we seen? So, you know, these are various exercises that last for 9 minutes, and regular blood samples were taken and analyzed. One patient compound in the blood. Yes, Ashas.
Ma'am, so the energy gets converted into ATP, then it helps us to work more.
when it is in ATP, what happens is where it is just stored into your muscles. Okay. So, but when you are working out, it has to break. So this ATP breaks into ADP, adenine diphosphate. Then when this is broken, this molecule gets broken, you get energy to work out. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay,
here
okay,
you can
understand.
see how it is happening. You know, from 20, it is at the level of 100. Then slowly it is coming down to 60 and then 40. Okay. So once you are, you just see that your energy level increases from 20 to 100 and then to 60 and then to 40. So one particular compound in the blood. So it is analyzed on taking one particular blood sample, and then it is found out that the graph is when it is increasing and then your energy level is going down, the ATP molecule. So what is actually happening here? There is something called lactic acid was found very greatly in its concentration, as we see from the graph. So we are seeing that the from the blood, lactic acid is a compound that is released. From in your muscles, you know that ATP is getting converted into, when this energy is utilized, lactic acid is produced. This causes, you know, when you do some exercises, you feel pain in your muscles. Don't you feel?
Yes.
So this pain is because of lactic acid. And what is happening is, if you are resting for some times or if you sleep for some time, this lactic acid is replaced again by ATP. So that is how this energy level has reduced. Here what we are seeing is we were this ATP, when this ATP was reducing, you were accumulating lactic acid. When you are at a D level, that means your muscles now contain lactic acid, and now you are very tired, lethargic, and you feel pains, and you rest for some time. So when you rest for some time, this lactic acid is again, it gets replaced by ATPs, and you go back to your normal. So during this process, you are releasing energy. So energy gets released, and lactic acid, and this lactic acid also goes out of your body when you rest. Especially after a sleep, when you get up, you find that you have no more pains in your muscles. So x-axis is times in minutes. We have taken times in minutes on x-axis, and y-axis is the concentration of lactic acid. So what are we seeing here is, as the time, you know, when the time is increasing from, if you're looking from 20 seconds to 40 seconds, so what is happening on the graph? This is the time. When it has reached or somewhere between 10 to 12 minutes, okay, 12 minutes. So the lactic acid concentration is highest, it's at 100. And then, you know, when the graph is coming down, what is happening when you are in a rest position, after 20-25 minutes, you see that lactic acid now is at 60. Its concentration is 60% per mg cubic centimeters. And when you are at 50 minutes, you have seen that it's further reducing to 40 mg milligram per cubic centimeters. So that is how the lactic acids increases. Got this? Any questions? Alina?
No, ma'am.
No by me.
No? So can we proceed? What about
No.
Safi and Aziz? Aisha?
Ma'am.
So Aisha, did you go? Can we proceed? So now, you see what is happening. The accumulation of lactic acid resulted in the muscular pain. Take walk, brisk walk, slow jogging, running for same distance, we feel that there is an increase in it, okay? When you are doing any exercises, you find that lactic acid is increasing in your muscles. and the pain level also increases. The active muscles, and then gradually it's removed from the blood after exercise. The working muscles were being changed to lactic acids. So these muscles, now the energy stored in lactic acid molecule is less than that in the sugar molecule. And if the acid comes from the sugar, then the energy is released. So that is how in this, the whole energy is released. You can see that ATP is triphosphate. You can see that 3 bonds of phosphate that is forming ATP. And when this energy is released, it is getting converted into ADP. Okay, so ADP is 2 bonds of phosphates. And this ATP from ADP and for the energy released during this anaerobic breakdown of glucose. So now you can understand Krebs cycle very clearly how it is happening.
Yes.
So this graph of lactic acid, and you have to draw this graph and show me how did you understand on this. There is at the back of your reader, this question is there. You have to note down these questions and write these answers and submit it on the WhatsApp for performance marks. Let me see how much you have understood. You have got question number 1, distinguish between inspiration and expiration, aerobic and anaerobic respiration, respiration and combustion, photosynthesis and respiration. This question you have to and state 2 similarities between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. These 2 questions I want you to complete and submit it today. So if you are able to write the answers for it, that means you have understood the concepts. Otherwise, you have to go back and repeat it again. Got it? So immediately after this, you still have the time, but our time on the Zoom will be over. Those 10 minutes that are left out, in that you have to write these 2 answers and post them on the WhatsApp. Till then, take care. Happy Eid. See you all back on.
Thank you.